It's winter time, and that means it is a perfect time to fish for sheepshead. That's what we're going to be talking about, giving you all the tips and tricks on this week's episode of Real Talk. Welcome into this week's episode of Real Talk, a brand new podcast that we are starting. You may have seen this series on WFLA News Channel 8, but we are now expanding it, and it's going to be a similar setup where we talk about what is biting this week. We'll give you all the tips and tricks on that, but now going to get to expand it and bring in some local charter captains and talk about what they're catching as well. So thanks for joining me on this first week's episode. This week, we're going to be talking about sheepshead. So I do want to welcome in JB. He's going to be monitoring some comments and some social media pictures that you have sent to us, and we're going to be showcasing those here in just a little bit. But also want to introduce this week's co-host, Captain Ryan Amaturo with Real Nauti Fishing Charters. Thanks for joining me this week, Ryan.
Yeah, hey, how y'all doing?
Doing good.
Yeah.
Man, I'm excited. Real Talk.
Yeah,
We're finally here. We've been talking about it for so long. The show is finally here with Amanda. And Ryan, it's great to have you here in the Stream Center today.
Yes, sir. Thank you. It's good to be here, and look forward to talking about sheephead and all the fun things that come along with it.
Yeah, so this week, detailing sheepshead. Ryan, let's get right into it.
Yeah.
We went out earlier this week.
We did.
And targeted them because it is a good time. Tell me why January, February is a good time to target these guys.
Sheephead in Tampa Bay love the winter months. They love the colder water temperatures. They thrive on that. They start biting, and we see it like an influx, and they start really showing up when the water temps start to get cool on the inshore reefs all around, different kinds of pilings and docks and stuff like that. So it's fun. Wintertime is fun. I love putting on jackets and getting out there and fishing for them when it's cold. So it's a good time.
I grew up fishing the shoreline, right? Didn't really have too much access to a boat. So these are the fish, if you're like walking along Bay Shore, if you're walking, anywhere near the water and you see some fish in the water that are black and white, these are the guys that are eating the barnacles and the oysters right there on the pilings. But they are in deeper water too, I guess.
Yeah, I like to fish for them in deeper water. Obviously, we're on a boat, so we tend to target depths anywhere from 8 to 15 feet for them. I like doing that, but yes, if you don't have a boat, you can fish from the bank. I know a lot of people who do. They use fiddler crabs, and they walk Bay Shore. They hit all the local bridges. There's a lot of places to fish for them in the wintertime, and it's cool because if you don't have a boat, you can take the kids and enjoy it.
Yeah, and something that you see here on this video, it was kind of hard to see with the ones that we catch, but these guys have some gnarly teeth.
Yeah, they do. It's almost like little human teeth,
they
right?
Do.
It's fun to see. A lot of people like it. It's like a highlight of that fish is their teeth. So it's cool.
But they actually serve a purpose, right? They have to crunch up those hard.
Correct. They eat barnacles. They eat oysters. So they do serve a big purpose. They eat obviously the fiddler crabs that we use or mud crabs. So yep, they serve a big purpose for that fish and how they eat and stuff like that. So it's neat to see. We always laugh about it.
And so why do we want to target sheepshead?
I think it's just a fun inshore species in the wintertime. Fishing gets a little more difficult in the wintertime. So with sheephead, it's a fun fish that families can target. Anybody can go target. It's easier. You don't have to have a lot to go do it. Grab you a fishing pole and a bucket of bait and go get it done.
We say easier, right? But like on Tuesday, we were fishing around the docks and the pilings.
Yep.
So you do have to be careful because they'll take you in there.
Yeah. So with fishing around structure, with you have to be careful because when you hook a bigger fish, it gets you wrapped around docks and pylons, and you'll be trying to fish through them and all that cool stuff. So it's a little more difficult, but it's that challenge, I guess, that keeps everybody coming back.
Yeah. It's definitely fun, and they're strong too. Even the small ones that we caught were
right. We had a tough bite on Tuesday.
We did.
Let's be honest. Everybody thinks that fishing and charter captains and everything always have it easy, and I think we had seen firsthand on Wednesday that it was difficult. We had a tough bite.
Listen, we caught some, but there was some other bycatch that we caught too. It made for a fun day. We caught some flounder.
Yep.
We caught some grunts.
Yeah.
Some pinfish.
Yeah, right. A little bit of everything. I think we fished in the afternoon, and I think that's a little more difficult. The tide was right, but I think these fish, I like to fish for them early in the morning.
Okay.
And I think that the fish like a little, they like that early time. So it was fun though. We got out, we caught fish. We seen some that wouldn't eat.
Yeah.
Swimming around pylons and stuff. And I think that's cool too for people is they can see these fish. It's not like deep water fishing. You can pull up on a dock or a pylon and you can see them literally eating the barnacles.
Yeah.
And so if you see that, you pitch to them and you
try it.
Most of the time they'll eat. Sometimes they don't.
Right.
And we found that out on Wednesday.
We were also coming off, a supermoon that was like a big supermoon for us. So that could have been a factor.
It could. It plays a factor, I think, with all fish. You know, I look at all the salooners a lot and I study that stuff, and it plays factors. You know, like I always like, especially on a big supermoon like that, I love like 3 to 4 days before, 3 to 4 days after.
Okay.
I feel like the bite gets really good in those times. And then on top of the moon, it's a lot harder.
So moons in general, right? Big moons, full moons, are they not eating because they have a lot of light and they can eat at night?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. I feel like they eat a lot at night when on a big moon like that, because it's, I don't necessarily say it's daytime, but for them it's like, wow, it's bright, you know, so let's eat. And then when we're fishing during the day, it makes things a little harder just for the simple fact of they've ate all night.
They're full.
Yeah, exactly right. You know, and sometimes they'll eat all day long. And I've had really good bites on full moons. But then again, I've had a lot of days where you struggle. You know, it's not easy.
I would say that,
I'm curious. So Ryan, do you your charter business, do you structure that around supermoons and the moon schedule? I mean, is that a big part of what you do with your business?
No. So basically, as a charter captain, you have to go when the client books. There's not always a time when I can pick when that trip there. You know, I fish a lot of people that are out of town. They're traveling. So when they pick that day, that's 6-8 months in advance. It's, you know, if it lands on a supermoon or a full moon or a tough tide, you have to go get it done. And I think that's what makes our job challenging as a charter captain. You have to put people on fish regardless. You know, it might not always be the ones that they're thinking or they want, but it's, you know, I tell everybody it's not always about the biggest catch. It's about the entertainment and having fun and making memories with people. And I think, you know, that's what keeps people coming back.
Is it pressure?
The pressure's huge.
I'm about to say, like, that's the feeling Amanda I get, that there's pressure, man.
Amanda and I have a running joke about cameras and fish, and it's not just me. There's a lot of captains that she fishes with, a lot of my friends that are captains, and it's like when you put a camera on the boat, it's high pressure situations, and I think the fish feel that.
Yeah,
I really do. You know, and it, for me, it gets frustrating, I think, because I'll go without the cameras, and all of a sudden we have these stellar days, and then Amanda calls me and she's like, "Well, where was that at the other day?" So,
but it's not just Ryan. I know Ryan catches fish. I know some of the other captains I work with. I know you guys catch a lot of fish all the time. But as soon as you put a camera on the boat, they're like, "Well, I'm not eating from that line."
Yeah, right. They feel the camera presence up on the boat somehow, some way. But it seems like it happens more so than it doesn't. That's for sure.
They're gonna get used to them though.
Hopefully, we just got to keep doing videos, you know, and
for sure.
Hopefully they get used to them and kind of take it easy.
So with Sheepshead specifically, talk to me about the bait. You have a little bit of a setup of what we had on Tuesday.
Yeah, so I brought a couple of setups. I don't know, it's a little hard to see. I can try to get it in there, but this is a smaller jig head. It's an 1/8 ounce with a 1/0 hook. If you can see that there, but I like to use dark colored on the leads. Okay. Either that or just the normal lead color. I don't really like to get all vibrant. Some people do. Also, I like to use here's a pack of just 1/0 J hooks that I use, and then with a setup like this, we put on 25-pound leader. Keep it simple, and then we also like to use split shots. Just a really easy setup. Anybody can do it. There's no crazy tying or nothing like that. So it's simple for everybody. We try to keep it that way, especially fishing around docks and pylons. You're retying a ton.
Right. Right.
As an amateur, that's the part I get most intimidated by is knots. Knots are hard.
There's one simple knot that it's the fisherman's knot, right?
Yeah.
You go around 7 times and.
Yeah, so I use a lot of uni knots.
Okay.
I call in the field, I guess you will, on the boat. If I'm at home prepping a lot of rigs and stuff, I use FG knots a lot. It's a lot better line, like especially when you go line to line.
Okay. Yes.
Braid to mono or fluorocarbon. I use it a lot because it goes through the eyes better. But if I'm out in the on the water fishing, I use a lot of uni knots, double uni or uni on the hook. It's a great knot. It's proven. I've caught 300-pound Warsaws on it. I've caught 20-inch sheepshead on it. So it works.
We're going to have to do a whole episode on just like tying knots.
Oh, you can,
for me,
it's a rabbit hole. You
Right?
can go down. There's so many different knots nowadays. It's crazy.
And then just all the different setups too, because this is just one setup, but for different fish you use different ones.
And I think it's preference a lot, especially for guides. You could talk to me and I use this. You could go talk to another guide and he uses something different. And it's all about preference. It's all about what's easy for people. But at the end of the day, I think a lot of it works. It's pretty much kind of once you figure out a way that works best for you, you kind of go after it and stay with that.
Works for you, why not? So there's some of the breakdown of the tips that we've kind of talked about. Winter incoming to high tide is really good. You like the mornings,
yes,
right?
Yep.
And let's talk about bait a little bit. So we use fiddler crabs, which these are the crabs that you like see walking on the the docks and up the pilings and sometimes on the beach near the mangroves.
Yeah, for fiddler crabs, I like them. They're not my favorite, but you can buy them at bait shops. Bait shops sell them. Most of our local bait shops carry them, so it's easy for people to go grab them. Same as shrimp. With shrimp, I use them very rarely for sheephead, just because it's not my bait of choice. But it's okay. And then there's a bait on there that we don't talk about, but we might have to save that for another episode.
Okay.
It's kind of a secret.
All right, so fiddler crabs and shrimp for bait. We talked about the line a little bit. Just some light tackle works best.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, cool.
Anything else?
No, I mean we went over the hooks and everything. I think it's just go out and have fun.
Yeah.
When you're talking to people about it, they want to go out and catch, but just go out and enjoy yourself. That's what fishing's about. Kind of get away from the crazy scene of regular life. So.
All right. Well, JB, there's one thing that we did not talk about yet.
Yeah, I want to see what people are catching out there on the water. We'll be back with Real Talk here in just a moment.
So before we get to our pictures, welcome back into Real Talk. I do want to talk about eating them.
Yeah.
Because it's been a long time since I have eaten a sheep's head, but Ryan, you tell me that they're really good, and there's one way you really like them.
Yeah, they're really good eating. White meat for an inshore species, it's real white. But I eat a lot of ceviche.
Yeah.
Some people don't. They don't like it, but I eat a ton of it. Sheephead ceviche is really good. It's one of my favorites. You cook it in lime juice, and then you put all the fixings in, and it turns into basically like a quick dip.
Yeah.
Really good, really easy. But I also like blackening the fish, putting them in a pan, getting a little blackened sear on them. They're really good that way as well. I eat it quite a bit in the wintertime. So there's a few different ways. Baking it, it's another good option people do. And then also if you're having a party and you go out, you're allowed 8 per person.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot, right? So when we have big parties, we go out and we'll catch them, but we'll fry them. We'll just chunk them in little like balls and fry them that way. And it's
little fish fry.
Yep. And it's good that way. So there's a lot of different ways to cook them. My personal favorite, ceviche. I don't know.
Is that because it's just like a good white meat?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, there's not really a fishy taste to it, especially if you bleed them out, you do it the right way, you cut the bloodlines out of it when you do the fillet. So ceviche is my favorite. It's frowned upon with some people, but
no, make that 2 in here. Ceviche is my favorite too. With a really good chip, a good chip.
Yep.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's I don't know, it's my favorite. I eat a lot of it.
All right. Well, now JB, we want to get to your pictures.
Yeah, and real quick, before we get to the pictures, on Real Talk, this is a big part of the show, Amanda. We've been talking about it for so long. You can send in your photos and be part of the program. All you got to do is send them in to WFLA.com/report it. We'll also be paying close attention to Amanda Holly's Facebook page for a lot of the best photos from around the Tampa Bay area. Ryan, this is a lot of fun, man.
We
get to see all the best photos.
Yeah, I do. I love seeing people throw in their photos and what other people are catching. It's cool to see that people are getting out and actually fishing and getting it done on their own. It's cool to see.
So yesterday, I asked for some pictures on my social media just to kind of jumpstart this, and man, you guys delivered. First, want to show you some of the sheep's head, obviously relevant for our topic today, that have been caught across the area. Obviously, they're catching them.
Yeah, it's time. A lot of people are out fishing for them. A lot of bait shops are having a hard time keeping bait in because of all the people fishing for them. But some good catches there. I've seen some nice sheep's head.
For sure. So go out, catch the sheep's head. But we're also catching quite a few other things across the area right now. I mean, a lot of things are biting in the winter months. Fish turn on nowadays.
Yeah, the cooler water temps. Yeah. When it gets too cold, it kind of gets weird. But for the most part, like right now, our water temps are in a really good spot.
Okay.
Inshore, you're getting the redfish, the trout, low tide. We've been doing some wade fishing for redfish on low tides, and that's been really fun. There. That's a good red. Yep. Oh, there's a tuna. I know that guy.
Yeah.
That's my little guy holding a blackfin tuna from offshore. So those
It's a good time for those,
It's
right?
a good time. Yep. The water temp's a little cool, but you can find them. They're out and about. Out in a 150 foot plus, but they're out there.
Red grouper always bite.
Yeah, red grouper are always around.
And then the hogfish at the beginning of this slope too. They're there.
There you go. Yeah, hogfish is a huge target for us in the wintertime as well. They move in shallower. You go get a shrimp, another jig head. We use a lot of jig heads, and they're fun wintertime catch, and those eat extremely well.
I really want to do in the next few weeks here, do an episode there on hogfish. Lastly, want to get to some of the other pictures. I couldn't put them all on here. They will eventually all be shown, I promise. But some of these fish that you're about to see are fish that we'll see on future episodes of Real Talk. So wahoo, haven't caught one of those. We're going to work on those.
We're working on it.
I'm excited.
Mahi,
nice summertime fish there.
Yep. We actually caught a mahi offshore the other day.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was actually a pretty good one too for our area.
Okay,
yeah,
all right. The Goliaths are always fun.
Yep.
Always fun to catch.
They put up a good fight.
Yes. And then you talked about this.
African pompano. So great time for African pompano. They're on the springs, the reefs, out deeper, but great time. Awesome fish to catch. Really good eating.
All right. Well, I am very excited. Ryan, thanks for joining me on this first episode.
Yeah.
Kicking things off
Thanks
here.
for having me.
Yeah. So Real Talk's going to be airing every Friday. And if you miss it, you can watch it on all WFLA streaming platforms or wherever you get your podcasts as well. But this is visual. We want to show your pictures and stuff too. So don't forget about sending us those pictures. But wherever you watch your podcasts and listen, you can watch Real Talk as well. So we will be back next week featuring a new type of fish.